Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this video, or for this video, I will be doing a reading on what kind of spirit is around you and what does it want. We have 4 piles over here. Pile number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4. So just take a moment, pick your pile, and let's begin. Hello, pile number 1. We have 4 cards over here. 7 of Wands, 9 of Cups, 4 of Cups, and 8 of Pentacles. Now let's see what kind of ghost or spirit is there around you and what is it that they want. We'll start with the 7 of Wands. 7 of Wands, I will have to point out that it's a lucky number, so I guess maybe it's a good spirit. We can say we could start right there. Now this card might indicate that the person, whoever it was, he was a hard worker and he might have been in worked in business. Now, and whatever happened to that person, he's careful about, new things or things that are happening around him. Now, there's obviously a strong energy whenever you see it or you feel it. However, this card tells me that you rarely see the spirit because the spirit is on high alert. As I've mentioned before, it is a careful one. Now moving on to the 9 of Cups over here. Again, it tells us that it was a successful person and a person who worked hard for whatever they had. And it's a good card to have in the reading, so we have 2 pointers over here that it's a good spirit, not a bad one. Now, this card over here, however, it could be a warning to you that if you stop working on whatever it is you're working, it will, you will lose it. So is the spirit active when you're not paying attention to whatever it is that you have to pay attention to? Maybe you should pay attention to whatever it is that you have to pay attention to, and as well see if the spirit is active when you're not paying attention to whatever it is that you have to pay attention to. I mean, it sounded kind of confusing, but I hope you understood what I mean. Or now, like, if we look at the 4 of Cups over here, one more thing that it tells us about the person, that it was a wise person. And again, is it mostly active? Now I'm talking about the spirit's activities. Is it mostly active whenever you are in a bad mood? I think what it wants to do is it wants you to reassess your life. Consider your current options, not the new ones, but the options that you already have. Maybe you're not paying enough attention to those options, and that's why the spirit is being active. I mean, it seems that looking at the cards over here, it seems that there is already something that you have in your life, but you aren't paying enough attention to it. Going to the King of Pentacles. The King of Pentacles here indicates that the spirit might be someone very close to you. Could it be your grandfather or a father? Now, it could actually be even as close as like your partner, your husband, someone that passed away. And the person is not a stranger, definitely. Now, one thing that I see here is that you guys had a difference. Like, he wanted something from you. I think it was a he, it wasn't a she. And he didn't exactly want something from you. He wanted something you to do. He was set in his own ways, but you didn't want to follow his footsteps. Now, he wants you to have a good life, and however, now, if you take a look at this card over here, whether the light is reflecting, but I'll just hold it this way. Okay, there you can see it. There's a cake right there. Now, if what he wants you to do is, before he was set in his ways, right now what he wants you to do is look at your life and see that you, whatever it is that you have, you should pay more attention to it, so you could have a cake of your own. You wouldn't have to do his things. You could do your own things, and you could be just as successful as he was. And I guess that's it. There isn't much more I could say with these 4 cards. Now, I know this reading was short, and again, I hope you liked it, and I hope you come back for more, and you have a good one. Thank you for watching. Hello, choice number 2. We have 4 cards over here: Ace of Wands, the World, Wheel of Fortune, and 2 of Cups. Now let's see what kind of spirit is there around you, and what is it exactly that they want. Now we'll start with the Ace of Wands. Ace of Wands, the one thing, well, actually a few things that this card tells me, or is telling me, is that whoever it is, or whatever it is a new occurrence. And it's a very strong one. However, it is a sporadic one. It happens all over the place. It doesn't, and it's not consistent. Now, whoever it is, the person, it seems as if it is a young soul. Maybe not exactly young, but perhaps young at heart. Or just could be a young soul. Now, moving on to the world over here. The world can tell us about completion and success. You would ask me, like, why? And what I'm seeing here is that whenever you're around, the spirit is feeling complete and it is calm. But whenever you're not there, you're seeing its activity. Maybe things get moved around or some other stuff. Now, one more thing that this card could tell us is that it could have been someone who was a traveler or a foreigner. Moving on to the Wheel of Fortune over here. The Wheel of... actually, let's go back to this card. I want to point out that the World is a positive card. It doesn't have any negative interpretation, so, and it's a good indicator for us over here, because we know that whoever it is, the spirit, the ghost, the entity, it doesn't mean you any harm. It's a good, it is a good, let's call it a person. Now, Wheel of Fortune over here, however, is a little, it tells us a little bit of contradictory things opposed to this card over here. Now it tells us that the spirit could be disruptive and it could turn your world upside down, but you would ask why if it's a good spirit. Now what I'm seeing here is that it does those things to protect you. Like, for example, it might move your keys away, it might toss them somewhere, like car keys, and then you will be searching for those keys thinking like, oh my god, why is it happening? But what the spirit is doing is trying to prevent you from an accident that might have happened had the spirit not done that. And that's just one of those. This is just an example, like you probably know what I'm talking about. Now, as well, this card represents like past experiences, and it wants you to move on. Like the spirit wants to move on, and it wants you to move on. So one thing, well, you have to remember that fortune favors the bold. So it wants to protect you, but it wants you to do things. Like it wants you to be brave, basically, and do whatever it is that you have to do. Now, the Two of Cups over here, it can represent attraction, compatibility, and partnership. So, what do those things tell us? They tell us that the spirit wants to establish a connection with you, and maybe it could actually even be your relative, someone from the past. Now, for the most part, Two of Cards is a positive card, so generally speaking, we are seeing an active spirit that has a lot of energy, but it means no harm. So you shouldn't be afraid, and you shouldn't be spooked by the spirit. Now, I know this reading was a short one, and I hope you come back for more, actually. And you have a good one. Thank you for watching. Hello, choice number 3, or pile number 3. We have 4 cards over here. Justice, 10 of Swords, 10 of Wands, and 6 of Wands. Now let's see what kind of spirit is there around you, and what is it exactly that they want. Now we'll start with Justice. Justice tells us a few things. It tells us things such as fairness, truth, and balance. Now, the spirit, or whoever it is, they are fair, and they won't harm you, because whatever goes around comes around. So you should be assured that the spirit won't harm you. It won't do you any bad. Now, moving on to the 10 of Swords over here, we can see that it was someone that was let down, and someone deceived it, or they deceived them. The spirit had something bad that happened to it. We go into the 10 of Wands over here. We can see that the spirit, it is carrying a heavy burden. Now, however, the burden might not be entirely his or hers. He or she, they were helping someone, and they might have gotten backstabbed, maybe literally or figuratively. However, they are okay with it, and they know that when that happened, and whatever it was that happened, they might have saved someone they loved. So I don't want to say the word died, but yes, they died for someone they loved. Now, what is it that they want from you? If we look at this, the 6 of Wands over here, they just want to be accepted. They want to be recognized. And the thing is that this spirit right here, he's a humble one, or she is, but a shy one. So they might appear the activity, the energy, but as soon as you want to, connect with them, they disappear. But you shouldn't be afraid, and because 6 of Wands over here, it indicates positive things. So what the spirit wants to do, what the spirit wants you to do, I believe, is that it wants you to help others, and you will have a positive outcome. And it just doesn't want you going through what it went through. So if someone or something bad is happening in your house or a place where you're staying, the spirit probably starts being more active because it acts as a warning to you. So you wouldn't have to repeat what they went through, because they are all about the justice. And justice is not about, some people usually take this word as, justice for all, like harm someone. No, they don't exactly want to harm anyone. They just mean you good. And I hope you like the short reading, and I hope you come back for more, and you have a good one. Hello, choice number 4, or pile number 4. I have 4 cards over here. 8 of Pentacles, 3 of Wands, King of Wands, and the Empress. Now let's see what kind of spirit is there around you, and what is it exactly that they want. I'll start with the 8 of Pentacles over here. The 8 of Pentacles, it tells us that the spirit, or the entity, it does things over and over. Is there something that's happening in your place that repetitively, I don't know, whatever it is, light flickering over and over and over again? And it's not random, it's just constantly something repetitive is going on. But another thing that this card tells us is that it doesn't do it to, get your attention. It just, the spirit is doing it for their own amusement or their own needs. Now, 3 of Wands over here tells us that the spirit is focused on something, and it tells us that the spirit might be living in the past and is focused on the past more than on the present, and so it does all those things over and over and over and over again. Now, however, the King of Wands over here, it suggests us that it does have a solid plan, and that plan is, for the future. It wants to move on, but it wants to tell you some things. Now, the King of Wands right here indicates that it is a male figure, whoever it is, and it wants you to take control of your own life. Now, you should have plans and you should act on them, and I believe that it is more active when you aren't doing whatever it wants you to do. Like maybe is there some area in your life where you need to take charge? It wants you to do it. Now, the King of Wands symbolizes as well travel, so maybe it wants you to travel, but you are hesitating in not doing so. And as well that when you do those things, the spirit will move on, because it does have a solid plan, and it will travel to whatever place it wants to be. Now, the Empress over here, it tells us a lot of things like abundance, fertility. It represents female power, and yes, even men have it if you are a male and you are watching this reading. And so what the spirit wants you to do is, it wants you, since this card, it's a 3rd card in the major arcana, and 3 symbolizes beginnings and taking action. So it wants you to take charge of whatever it is in your life. It wants you to do it. It wants you to act on it, and then you will have abundance of good things, and you should say yes to life, and then the spirit will move on. So I don't think that it's a bad spirit. It probably is an annoying one, let's admit it, that, but it does not mean you any harm. And I hope you like the short reading, and as well I hope you come back for more, and you have a good one.